All right, so the question was, isn't God supposedly a jealous God? And if so, wouldn't that be a contradiction to his nature, since jealousy is considered a sin? This is an awesome question. But first, to understand this question, and I actually did a write-up on this, so I'm going to just stick to the write-up because it gets straight to the point. We don't have to stay on this long. We have to actually qualify this question to understand that, number one, there is truth in this statement that God is a jealous God. We all know that's what the word says. But to approach or understand God, you have to start from the foundation of truth. This is very important. And the truth is that his nature is good. He's perfect and he's without sin. It's very crucial. You have to understand that. Therefore, that everything that God does and produces is good, perfect, and has purpose. That's very important. So you have to understand that whenever you approach God with anything, you have to understand that he is good, perfect, and without sin. And everything he does is good and has a purpose. So let's begin. I'm going to stick to the write-up so we can really stick to the point and not get off topic. There are two actually significant definitions of jealousy and forms of jealousy. I'm going to read them both. Number one, feeling or showing envy of someone or their achievements and advantages. Example, he grew jealous of her success. A synonym for that would be envious, covetous, desirous. The second form of jealousy, listen here, fiercely protective or vigilant of one's rights or possessions. Fiercely is basically with a heartfelt or powerful intensity, and vigilant is keeping careful watch for possible danger or difficulties. Synonyms is to be protective, to be watchful, to be heedful, to be mindful, to be careful, and to be solicitous. And for those of you who don't know, solicitous is characterized by showing interest or concern. And that's very crucial. So just from understanding the nature of God and understanding his authority, right? The only person that suffers from the sin issue is us, right? Because we're jealous people, we're envious, and we're bent over about other people's lives, advantages, and their achievements. It's all of us. That's where the sin takes place when it comes to us, right? Now, in his second form of jealousy, this sounds a lot like my king. And with that, I'm thankful that God, the God that I serve, is jealous when it comes to me. Why? Because it means he's protective when it comes to me. He's vigilant when it comes to me. He's watchful when it comes to me. He's mindful. Who am I that he is mindful of me? To God be the glory. And he shows interest and concern and is very careful when it comes to me. This is the God that I serve, right? And it's just beautiful because, again, there's no contradiction here, right? And God remains good, perfect, and without sin. But we knew that from the beginning. So again, even just approaching the question, never once going through it was there an assumption that he wasn't good or not perfect or without sin. We have to remember that. And to the person who may be questioning God, it's actually good news that God is a jealous God. And here's the good news, that he's not worried about your achievements. He's focused on you, right? And it's like, thank God, again, he's thinking of you, he's watching you, and he's been waiting for you because ultimately you belong to him. The definition says protective or vigilant over one's rights and possessions, right? The Bible always talks about how we are God's possessions because why? We belong to him. He calls us his own. We are his. So it's like, this applies to you. This is all applies to you because you're his, you belong to him. So that's encouraging to know, for the person who asked this question, you may have been in a place where, you're searching in a sense for God to prove that he's not good. And I would ask you to address that hurt, address that confusion, and really talk to your Father. I believe God is saying to you right now, come back home. That's very crucial. Come back home and know that your King is perfect and good, and everything he does is with purpose. And